to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is my thoughts, speculations, opinions only. May the four victims rest in peace. Condolence to their families. I wanted to break down the research I've found so far with the help of Real Eyes Analyze. She does some good work. This is Scott Green, the president of Idaho College. And we have David Baracho from the Sigma Chi Fraternity with him. We all remember the President Scott Green. Didn't he receive $1 million from the mayor of Idaho, Moscow, for the police funding and for catching the suspect or suspects of the horrific quadruples? He even wrote a manual, a book, so he's earning money for that too. Scott Green. He's a businessman. He has a business degree. Now, I found it very interesting that his son, Nick Green, is the president of Alpha Kappa Lambda. Those are the three boys at the Banfield and Said. His son is the president of that frat. Could that be what they're covering up? Then you have Showalter, whose mother, father are doctors, surgeons. His brothers are doctors. He's the only one who seems to be messing it up, getting kicked out of the frats. Allegedly, it was Ethan's fault. Then he got kicked out of the corner club for harassing Kaylee. He could have been Kaylee's stalker. Now, if you were the president of the college, you'd have to usually put all feelings aside and bring everyone to justice. But of course, you're going to be biased. Your son is involved. Even if he's not involved in the unalivings, your son Nick is responsible of the 4 boys at the Banfield stop. It could have been an innocent stop, but none of them look intoxicated for me. People look like they were hiding behind the bushes. There was weapons behind the bushes. Maddie's coat was found behind the bushes. Look at all the red flags. He did an interview. I'll play it in my next clip. But I just wanted to show you the connections. He's the president of Alpha Kappa Lambda. It's the frat Timothy, Ethan, Knight, and Peter, Reagan, and Said S. Safran. Boom. That was interesting. So, Nick, where were you that night? Didn't you notice these 4 were missing in action? Did they throw the weapons in the field? The police tried to stop them, But they walked away from the police, Nick. So what's up with your frats? The Alpha Kappa Lambda boys. So Saeed was distracting the cops because he's from the same fraternity as them. What does Ethan Knight have in his pocket? Sigma Chi Fraternity and Alpha Kappa Lambda were the true frats I had my eyes on the whole time. So Nick Green is the president of Alpha Kappa Lambda. And if he gets into trouble, his father, Scott Green, will have to protect his son. I knew the Banfield boy knew somebody. Saeed is from this frat too. So now it's starting to make sense to me. Saeed paid the Venmo. Do you remember? At $2.15 for $6 to David Baracho at the Sigma Chi. In the Reddit, it was said that David Baracho was bidding and trying to make money. Look at this one's hand, Timothy. The tall, thin one with the small shirt. This is what I found inside the bushes. Is this a weapon? Let me know what you all see. I see figures. All I did was zoom in. There's weapons. There's figures behind the bushes. People with masks. Kind of like costumes. This was inside the bushes. What could this be? Is it a weapon? Nick Green is Alpha Kappa Lambda is president, the frat president. So Alpha Kappa Lambda AKL, I believe, is having beef with Ethan and Zana, and so was Sigma Chi. In my opinion, there's definitely figures and weapons inside the bushes. In my opinion, this one is much more clearer to see. All are inside the bushes. So at 1:56 in the morning, at night, this car was waiting at King Road. Was it David Lodge's white truck, or was it Jack D's white truck? Do you remember this article? Somebody was saying there were Brian Koberger's family. And they said he was in the parking lot and he switched it back on when he was okay. Before he says that, basically what he tries to say is that Brian Koberger was sitting and doing rugs in the Queen's parking place like he's done many times before. And then the security guy that was with him was a peeping Tom. And Koberger is using his knife for using the rugs to chop off the cocaine. And then this guy, the security guy, hops off the car to go and peep into the girls' windows or to go inside the house. And Koberger just drives off to teach him a lesson. That's according to this person on social media saying that. Anything is possible. I can understand why Koberger's addiction could have brought him to 1122 King Road, which was a party house. The Uber driver said it was a house he drove many people to buy rugs from. So this was the meeting point. Something doesn't make sense with this story and with Koberger's alibi, both of them. Wonder if the security guard was allegedly Brent Kopacka. I found it always strange that Koberger's father, Michael Koberger, started telling the police randomly about the SWAT team in Washington Pullman on the 15th of December 2022, which was about Brent Kopacka. I don't like to think bias, so I wonder if Brent Kopacka and Brian Koberger knew each other, and if Kopacka warned Koberger to get away, that the FBI is on his case. Plus the fact Brent Kopacka was suffering of psychosis episodes. Could it be possible that Brent Kopacka and Brian Koberger were friends and they both had addictions and they're buying cocaine, allegedly from Bethany Funk or DM? That would explain why they were around this area so often. Allegedly. Were they all paying Venmos to see this? This is when the crowd was yelling Zana's name and E's name. Jack K started Ethan's funding. I think it was the GoFundMe. His sister was sending a Venmo. Liz, I believe her name was, Katowish, to Molly from the 12th. She's from Sigma Chi, so they're in Ada County. Barachi started the Venmos. He started bidding, he said. Because he needed to buy stuff for the Sigma Chi. I think for his dormitory or his room. So this whole thing is a chain. It'll fall, it'll collapse. They all know each other, allegedly. And Scott Green, his son, is in charge of the three guys, Timothy, Ethan Knight, and Peter Regan. answer this. He'll have to answer. Nick Green will have to answer. Why those boys were at the Banfield? Where did they come from? I believe those are the guys DM heard rummaging upstairs. Wasn't this the black truck that was driving at exactly 3 a.m. in front of Taylor Avenue? Was Quinn Kelly driving it? DM's boyfriend? DM, his boyfriend, Quinn Kelly, and herself were taking pictures and putting it on VSCO. Enormous. Quinn Kelly was seen that night, although he says he wasn't there. He's showing his timeline. He's saying he was in Boise, Idaho. But many people said they saw him. DM was creating numbers. Strange. She saw Xana lying on the floor, and she didn't bother to run for her life or even check on Xana. Where was BF that night, actually? She said she saw Xana dressed in all black clothing. That's strange. That's why Ann Taylor meant by Bethany Funk has escapade evidence. What she saw is different to what DM saw, in my opinion. Look at the state of Jack Decor, Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, on his TikTok right after the unalivings. Look at his knees. Look at his knees. Why was he so injured? I really believe in this part of the 4chan. And in fact, every part. DM heard rummaging upstairs and she thought it was the Sigma Chi boys. Or it was the Alpha, Kappa, Lambda boys. The president of the frat is Nick Green. Nicholas Green is the son of the president of Idaho University, Scott Green. So it is two frats, I believe, involved. Sigma Chi Fraternity and Alpha Kappa Lambda, in my opinion. I don't know if Jack D was crying or if he was in a fight before that, but his face looks really swollen up and his fingers too, in my opinion. Kaylee was clearly taking a picture of Jack Showalter and the guys behind him. The white truck was at Kings Road at 1:56. That's when Kaylee and Maddie come home. Did David Lodge or Jack D attack them? Allegedly. The white truck is still standing there. I think this is the picture that was taken from the roof. I think it's Kaylee, in my opinion, at 3:09 or 3:10. This is before the figures were running. These are the pictures DM put on a VSCO page, anonymously. On the left-hand side, it's her and her boyfriend, Quinn Kelly. On the right-hand side, it was the masked man whose picture was taken in Geo Snapchat. That's enormous. In front of the house at 3:30 at night. Wow. I wonder why DM and BF decided to call Hunter Johnson and Emma and she seemed to be awfully quiet. She didn't seem to be panicking or hysterical on the call. Quite strange, because she and Zana were tight. They did everything literally together. Maybe she just has a strong defense mechanism. But something was not right with the 911 call. This picture was taken on the 12th of November 2022. It was uploaded on the 13th on Dylan Mortensen M is VSCO. Strange. No, sorry. It was uploaded on Kaylee G is Instagram on the 13th of November. But Kaylee wouldn't have done that. And somebody was tampering with their Instagram and locked her Instagram account. Where was Jack Showalter that night? He was the only one who left, allegedly. Drove to his parents' cabin in Boise, Idaho, 5.5 hours away. Did he stop anywhere? Is there any receipts? You have many of them who have antisocial personality disorder symptoms, honestly, in my opinion. Like Showalter, unaliving coyotes, throwing them around, sororities, front doors, skilled hunter, harasses females, aggressive towards females. So Saeed paid the first Venmo at 2:13 to David Baracho. Interesting. Saeed is from Alpha Kappa Lambda. The president of his frat is Nick Green. And Nick Green, his father, is Scott Green, the president. Boom. So Saeed was distracting the cops from his frat brothers. Now I got it. Sigma Chi frats were involved too. They were out for Ethan and Zana and Maddie. They were the figures running, in my opinion. So the Banfield boys, the 3 Banfield boys, Saeed, and the Sigma Chi boys, the Davids and the Jacks, in my opinion, are very important. I'm not saying they did it. I'm saying they're very important, and the surviving roommates. And everyone who called 911. No more than they're saying. Please let me know what you'll think. So let's summarize. This is Nick Green. He's the president of Alpha Gamma Lambda. That's across Banfield. He's the president of the 3 boys in Banfield. Ethan Knight, who unalived his father in self-defense terms, and the father's dog. Timothy, who's the treasury. Peter, Reagan, and Sai Sheikh. He's the president to all of those 4 guys. And his father, interestingly enough, is Scott Green, the president of IDAHO Moscow, the man involved in this case. Please like, share, and subscribe. Alpha Kappa Lambda. This is Timothy, the one with the small shirt on at the Banfield. Not the one with the glasses. This is the one with the pink hoodie on. He's on the Alpha Kappa Lambda 2. And his president is Scott Green, his son Nick Green. I wonder if that's what they're covering up. Then you have Ethan Knight, the one with the glasses or goggles at the Banfield. The one in the middle keeps on looking in the bushes with the other guy. He unalived his father. He shot him 4 times, and the father's family dog. The charges were going on, they're pending for self-defense. He was out on bail since February 2022 until February 2023. I think the case is still pending. He's president of his frat, Alpha Kappa Lambda, is also Nick Green, Scott Green, his son. So they're protecting the college, like I always said. The Banfield boys are involved. And I'm sure there are people hiding in the bushes, in my opinion. It looks like there's red liquid underneath the picture. This is where Maddie's coat was found, behind the fire extinguisher, or behind the bushes. It was the frats, sororities, Alpha Kappa, and Sigma Chi, and the sororities, and the surviving roommates that were seen that night, and the people at the corner club, allegedly. Please like, share, and subscribe.